from another planet? Is Janet 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 from another planet?
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. It looks like it's just me again. And I'm lucky that I'm even here because I might be leaving town to go and to my sister's because my father is not doing very well. And he goes up a little and then he comes down. But he's in the worst shape that I know of right now from what my sisters are telling me. But, just have to still get up and, do your responsibilities of each day, no matter what happens. So, just giving you a heads up. So if I don't play tomorrow, play my game or do the girl guy in a movie, you know why. But I'll try to keep you guys updated once I have some information. But tonight, there really is a lot of bad shit still, and there always will be because there's always going to be bad people in the world, no matter what, because there's always going to be evil if you have good, right? It's a balance. And we have free will. So when you have free will, people tend to make bad decisions. But I wanted to start off tonight with this really cool event that we all been watching on the news about the rocket that's on its way to the moon again for the first time in like 50 years, something like that. So I wanted to share that. But what's so cool about this view, it's an actual view of the rocket launch seen from the space station. Because so many people think, oh, the world is flat, never done this kind of stuff before. It's not real. It's all fake, whatever. You guys can believe whatever you want. You don't have to believe that we've ever been to the moon. You don't have to believe that we can even do any of this and that we just live in a maze in somebody's jar somewhere. You can believe whatever you want. I mean, you have the right to do that. But I choose to believe that we do have this technology and that we have been to the moon. And it was a miracle that we even did it and beat out other countries from being able to do it and put our flag on the moon. And a lot of people don't believe that either, which is fine. You don't have to watch this show. I don't care. Honestly, I don't. I'm going to do it anyways, even if I'm by myself. This is my way of, I don't know, my social life, I guess, whatever. So this is what I do for fun, and I enjoy it, and I actually pay to do this. I pay StreamYards to use their stuff to be able to stream. So, it's fun, and I find it entertaining, and I like sharing information if I can. But I'm going to play this for you. So hopefully it works, but I don't know. Let's see if you can see that or not. I think you can. So here we go. Sorry, I had to turn off the music because YouTube's going to throw a fit over it. There we go. But I'm going to keep playing it. Here we go. So pretty. It looks like an angel or something from outer space. Look at it go. Oh, it's breathtaking. Beautiful. And see, that was the first jet fuel thing that dropped off and falling back to the earth. Amazing. So pretty. I just think that's beautiful. I'm going to copy the link for this for anyone who would like to go and see it or share it with others, because that to me is it's history, basically. In our lifetime, it's not our grandparents' lifetime where, somebody supposedly went to the moon and no one was to believe it, because it'd be your grandkids that'll say, it's not real. So I don't know. I just think it's funny how we just, go up and down with all that information. But I just thought it was beautiful. I mean, look at that. Oh, I envy the people that get to be up in the space station and look down and see the beauty of God, what God created. And every single one of those little specks that you see are stars, distant stars or planets or some other objects like that. But they're very, very far away, and it's just breathtaking. I look up at the sky at night because I'm far enough away from any big city that I can actually see the Milky Way and the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Orion's Belt, all the different constellations. And I just feel blessed to be given such a gift, to be able to look up and know what it is. Because remember, the first people on the planet didn't understand. They didn't realize that there were stars. They just saw it and maybe thought it was gods or whatever. I don't know, but I just feel blessed to be in the time that I'm in, to understand what I'm seeing. And I think everyone should be. But I want to say hi to everybody. I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Lloyd. Thank you for joining me this evening. And hi, baby girl. Thank you, Jackie Blue, for coming in for your short amount of time that you're allowed to be in here, because I know that you have work. But let's see. Yeah, stars. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I wish I could get a really good camera like that. I have a few friends that have really nice telescopes, but you have to have they have a special thing that they build to put out at certain times, depending on meteor showers and things like that. And they also have cameras on them, so they can take photos or short videos. What I really want to see is I want them to be able to take some video for me that's clear of the moon. I'm able to go out and take some pretty good pictures of the sky with different stars and stuff. But every time I try to take any pictures of the moon, it just looks like shit. It's all blurry and foggy looking for some reason with my iPhone. It doesn't take very good pictures of the moon. They're awful. I'm in awe of people that can actually take such beautiful pictures like this one that they were able to take. But I guess when you're out of space, out away from the atmosphere that we have, you don't have all the distortion, because look at that. I mean, it doesn't even look real. It looks fake. And that's why I can understand why so many people say, see, it's not real. What you're seeing isn't real. Look at that. I'm just moving this along and it's just freaking beautiful. I mean, even all the man-made stuff down there at the bottom, look at all the cities and the lights from the cities that we put there. Because before, whenever God would look down on the earth, it would be mostly darkness, because it was just a few campfires or whatever someone might have, little specks of light. But we got the whole planet pretty much illuminated now. But I just think it's just gorgeous. And I shared it. So anyone who wants to share that with anyone, you can now, because it's so freaking gorgeous. So this next thing I want to bring up, I saw this come across my timeline, and it gave me a good giggle, because I remember at least one of the people in this from the show that my mother used to watch. It was called The Hollywood Squares. My grandma and my mom loved that show. They'd laugh and laugh with the people on there. And when I saw one of the characters on this thing from the dating game, I wanted to open with it, because it's something funny. It makes you laugh, and you probably might recognize the other two people. They kind of looked familiar to me, but I had no idea who they are or who they were until I watched this and they talked about it. But I don't know why they would have all these stars, but I guess every so often they did these special Hollywood Squares, like for fundraisers or something like that. But this is one lucky young woman right here that's getting a chance to go out on a date with all three of these guys, depending on which one she ends up picking. But I'm going to play this because I just thought it was so neat. And here we go.
Hear the sounds a woman makes after you've kissed her for the very first time.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good for a start. Bachelor number 2.
The sound a woman makes after I've kissed her?
Yes.
Sometimes they smother.
Smother?
Yes, after I kissed them.
Oh, okay. Bachelor number 3. If you were shipwrecked on an island all alone, what would you do between 4 and 6?
Tahiti or the Bahamas?
Oh, I don't care. Any island. But you're alone.
Would you repeat that?
Yes. If you were shipwrecked on an island all alone, what would you do between 4 and 6 o'clock?
In the evening or morning?
Oh, I don't care. Oh, you'd do something. And would you sit and think? Would you climb coconut trees?
Yeah, I'd probably fish, I suppose.
You'd fish?
Yeah.
All right, Bachelor number 1, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd start looking around for something for dinner.
Something for dinner. Man of my own taste. Okay. Bachelor number 2. Yes. We've been married 70 years. We're sitting on the front porch and you wink at me. What do you want? Oh, come on.
Probably want you to wink back.
Oh, okay. I'll wink back. Bachelor number 3, what would you want?
Probably my supper, imagine.
Your supper.
How old were you again?
We've been married 70 years.
70 years?
Yes.
I probably want to go back to bed.
Good night. Bachelor number 1, I've just given you bachelor number 2. What are you going to do with him?
Go dancing.
Okay, bachelor number 2. What would you do with number 1?
Well, I guess I'd have to follow her lead.
You guys will have a good time anyway. Okay, bachelor number 3. You've just built the perfect girl trap. Tell me what it's like and what do you use for bait?
I think I'm gonna watch Bachelor 1 and 2.
A girl trap? All right, bachelor number 1. What's yours like?
I did the trap.
Yes, the trap.
Well, I'd say probably money.
Money?
Lots of it.
Lots of money.
I find that gets them to follow you.
Oh, okay. All right, bachelor number 3. When I was a little girl, I loved my pillow. When you were little, what did you love and why?
Oh boy. When I was 3?
No, when you were little.
Oh, when I was little, what I liked. Wow.
Well, didn't you like something? Did you have a pet or
I like my mother a lot, I think.
your mother? All
And,
right. Bachelor number 2.
Yes. What did I like? Oh, I think I liked the cowboy movies more than anything
The
else.
cowboy movie.
Okay, that's a signal, Joy. Time is up. And now you have 60 seconds to make up your mind. So relax and think about it. And while Joy is deciding which of the gentlemen she's going to choose for a date, we'll take time out for this message. Welcome back to the dating game. And Joy, we're going to ask you to make a decision now. Only one of those gentlemen over there can be your date. Now, which one will it be? Will it be bachelor number 1, bachelor number 2, or bachelor number 3? Joy, who gets the date?
I want bachelor number 1.
Number 1, all right. Okay. Congratulations on number 1. Is there any particular reason, Joy, why you selected number 1?
I like the way he answered questions and the audience likes him.
Yeah, they sure do. Well, I'll tell you, I think the audience likes all the fellas. They were all great guys. And I'll tell you something about the gentleman you did not choose first. You didn't select bachelor number 3, who is a composer, performer, a record producer, and you heard a little music as you were making up your mind there. He co-authored that song, That's Life, for Frank Sinatra. His new album is called Defunct. He likes boating and dune buggies. Mr. Kelly Gordon. Kelly, come on and say hello to Joy, if you would. Kelly, good job. Thank you. You also did not select bachelor number 2, Joy, and he is a multi-talented gentleman. He's a composer, an author, an entertainer, everything he does well. His new single is called Gift of Song and a Major Thang. His new album, Music, he's written many books, many other songs. Mr. Mason Williams. Mason, come on and say hello to Joy, please. You smother him with that brush, huh? Thanks, Mason. Very good job. Thanks, Kelly. All right, Joy, your date is standing by, and this is the moment. I want to tell you a little something about him. Well, the audience should like him because he is a very, very funny man. You've seen him many times on television. He's guested on the Kraft Music Hall. He is a regular on the Dean Martin Show for summer. His name is Mr. Paul Lynde. Paul, come on and say hello to Joy. Good job, Paul. Well, Joy.
That was hilarious. It was sad, though, when I looked it up afterward, the fact that he died when he was only 55 years old, and that he suffered from weight problems. You know, he was constantly, I guess his weight fluctuated. And I guess dieting, you know, as they always say, it's not good for your heart and stuff. So it was sad when I read that he had died when he was 55. But I just remember my mother used to love him. She used to laugh at stuff that he would do. I think he was on a show my grandma liked, was Laugh-In or something like that. And he was just funny. It made my grandmother laugh. So I just thought that was funny when I saw it. And the thing is that she just seemed like she wanted someone that would answer the question quickly, and it sounded fun. So I don't even think she noticed that if he was gay or not. She just thought that he was fun. He sounded fun. So that's probably why she picked him. But I just thought that was a cute thing to open the show with, because it just made you, it was kind of made me nostalgic for, you know, when we were younger, and people, we just accepted people. You know what I mean? Just whatever way they were. But my mom really liked them. So, but tonight, I'm not going to do the typical stuff like I normally do because everybody's talking about, Pam Bondi and, all that stuff. Well, one thing I wanted to focus on tonight is I'm going to play this clip, basically, and then I'm going to get into why I chose this clip and the stories that have come after this about how sad it makes me that we have so much division in our country. One side against the other, good against evil, all this kind of stuff. But it really doesn't matter about that. It's that we should fight for our country, as together we're getting at it. So basically, I wanted to share this because I voted for Kennedy when I was in Louisiana, and I still love him. I think I got to meet him a couple times, and he's exactly what you see, when he does some of these things and you see him talking and stuff, he is exactly that person. He speaks like that. He asks questions. He's very personable. He's very hands-on. And you can just see his mind going as he's reading and he's talking about things. He tries to explain it in terms that regular people can understand. And that was one of the reasons why I liked him so much. To vote for, because I wanted somebody that seemed like, when you go see a doctor, you want a doctor that has good bedside manner. He actually listens to what you're saying, and you makes you feel like he actually cares, or her, whoever you have. So I'm the same way about people that I'm going to pick for my mayor or a sheriff, or your principal of your school, all those things. You want someone you feel like actually gives a shit about what's going on around them in their community. You know what I mean? A person that acts like, nonchalant and doesn't really give a shit because they don't think it affects them. That's not someone I want making decisions for me, or for my community. So I wanted to play this because this is actual interviews that anybody can watch what they're doing. But this was from a while back. It wasn't, right now, going on with what's going on, but this stuff is still going on. It's just that this conversation that you're going to hear was from a little bit back a little bit. But it's all about ICE and how they hate ICE and how they hate police officers, and they want to defund the cops and, all this stuff. But all the people that say this stuff have private security. Just like I've talked about this a few times on my show, and that's what's so disgusting about it. These people don't care about you and I having to defend ourselves, and they don't even want you to have a gun. They don't even want you to have a gun or means to defend yourself, yet you're supposed to just say, oh, well, but keep taking that money out of your check and pay their way, right? But I want you to listen to this back and forth, and then I'm going to play some of the other things that I feel you should think about what this person is saying and what other people like him say. And then when you see these other things that I'm going to play, and tell me that this person is a good person to have in office. That's what I basically want to play. But here we go. I'm going to make sure it's turned up and I'm going to play it. So here we go. Listen.
ICE agents are notified whenever someone is entered into my jail.
Do you need some water? Because I think your pants are on fire. Okay. Sheriff, I don't mean any disrespect, but you ought to be ashamed of that. How can you possibly be for public safety if you hate our immigration laws so much that you would let a convicted murderer back on the street? Do you really hate immigration laws that much? Well, here's what you said in the interview, apparently on the record. These ICE employees that you spoke to, you were referencing them, and you said, quote, these ICE officials, asked me, so Sheriff, if someone is about to be released from your jail and the detainer is about to expire, you will call us and let us know? What was my answer? You said, no. Because that's not what the law says. No, I will not call ICE. End quote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And sir, Senator, that was before the new law, which is now House Bill 318, which requires me to make that second phone call.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was not state law, which I follow and all my deputies follow.
Sure.
And so now we do make that second phone call. But ICE agents are notified whenever someone is entered into my jail.
Do you need some water? Because I think your pants are on fire.
Okay.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Carlos Heriberto Mendoza Martinez?
Not right off, sir. No.
Okay. Sheriff, you should. He was in our country illegally from Mexico. He was in a street gang. Back in Mexico, he was convicted of manslaughter. And he was in your jail. And because in 2021 and 2024, Mr. Martinez was arrested for assaulting a woman and domestic violence. And ICE placed a detainer on this guy because he was in our country illegally. And he was a criminal. And he was in your jail. And you wouldn't honor that detainer, would you?
I can't say that I did not honor the detainer.
I can.
I can say what I did honor was the conditions of the release that were issued by a judge. And so therefore, and once again, ICE was notified that they could come pick up.
Do you really believe in public safety?
Yes, sir, I do.
You would allow someone in our country illegally convicted of manslaughter, convicted of domestic violence in your jail. ICE says, please hold him when his time is up. We want to get this criminal out of our country. And you said no.
ICE was notified that they could come pick up the individual, and for some reason they did not. And the judge issued the conditions of release. I am a custodian. I do not determine who is released or held. I follow the court's order.
Sheriff, I don't mean any disrespect, but you ought to be ashamed of that. How can you possibly be for public safety if you hate our immigration laws so much that you would let a convicted murderer back on the street? Do you really hate immigration laws that much?
Senator, it's not a matter of that I hate immigration law.
You could have fooled me, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service. You're now in charge.
Okay. Well, I just wanted you to hear that because many, many, many times, and I'm sure many of you have already seen it, all these videos of these people out in front of the courthouses in all the big cities, New York, California, Seattle, Washington State, places, Oregon, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, and they're yelling, defund the cops, they hate the cops. We hate ICE, we hate anyone that's trying to get rid of, send people back to their own country, because they're breaking the law. A person that comes over the border illegally is breaking the law. So they've already broken the law just from coming over the border without going through the proper channels, because we do have proper channels for people. In any other country, you would get arrested too. But guess what? In other countries, you don't have to go to court. They'll just take you and lock you up in China and Russia and North Korea and, all these other countries, but nobody ever talks about the other countries. They only talk about America and how horrible America is. But everybody's trying to come here and get their free, handouts or whatever. But what's sad about it is I'm going to show you some videos about why police officers are so important and what kind of things that police officers do. Every day you're driving up and down the roads, going to work or going to shopping or whatever, and millions of other people are doing the exact same thing. And you have a police officer by themselves in a vehicle. And their job is to make sure you're not speeding, you're not drinking and driving, you're not doing drugs, you're not robbing people, you're not breaking into cars. There's tons and tons of laws in every state. And all a cop's supposed to do is, make sure people aren't breaking the law. And if somebody calls us, hey, someone broke into our store and robbed us, or somebody beat somebody in the street, whatever it is, they call 911. We all know someone who's had to call 911. But what happens when the cops don't ever come? Nobody thinks about that. Nobody thinks about, except people that live in places where their cops are told to stand down, don't do anything, just let them burn the buildings down, let them, do whatever, because it's not worth, just let them trash the places. And then when the businesses move away and all that, and there's no jobs, more people have to move away to find work, or they get on welfare or other ways of, getting money, because they don't have a job, because their cities are closing down. And if you look at in the background, go look in all these cities where there's a high crime rate, and they hate cops and hate ICE and all that. And tell me who runs all these cities. Tell me who the mayors are and who the chief of police are and people like that. And tell me how they keep getting elected over and over again when their cities just get worse and worse. I mean, like Chicago has high crime rates, yet they have the hardest gun control. But it's not gun control on the criminals, because criminals are going to have guns anyways. They don't care about the law. But you and I have to fight to be able to get a concealed carry, or take a class and do all the stuff you're supposed to follow the law, to be able to have a weapon in your home to defend yourself. And then when someone breaks in and attacks you and you try to defend yourself, you're the one who has to spend all your money and maybe lose your home to defend yourself, because you were defending your own family. So I've got a couple videos I want to share. So hold on, let me do this real quick. I'm really slow at this. But I want to share a few videos of people that are going through that exact thing that we need police officers for, and why we need cops. And sometimes they bite off more than they can chew, but that's their job. And then how do we treat them? We tell them to fuck off and die, or I wish we never had you. We hate cops. We don't want cops at all. Cops suck because they uphold the law. It's terrible. It's really terrible. I worked as a florist in a business. It was like a grocery chain that had florals shops in them, and I worked in a floral. And I remember a police officer that was in there one day, but he wasn't a cop on this day because he had to take another job as a Coke salesman. Basically, he would go and fill all the Coke areas in the store because he didn't make enough money as a cop. And he had a police car and he arrested people and things like that, but he couldn't make enough money to pay his bills. So he had to work another job on top of that one, delivering soda pop, driving a truck and taking it and going to all the different convenience stores and the grocery stores and filling shelves and stuff, and filling the machines and stuff. And he was in the store one day. He was filling the machine when a guy walked past Floral, and he turned and looked at me and he grabbed his chest. And I remember looking at him and I knew he was hurting, but I didn't know. He didn't say anything. He just gasped. And then his eyes started filling up with blood and he fell to the ground. And I pushed the button, that you're supposed to notify that the store that there's an emergency. And then I called 911. And while I was on the phone with 911, the guy putting the Coke in the Coke machine, the police officer came running over and started CPR on the man. Saved his life. And they're good people. They're just like you and I, but they just happen to be a police officer. He went to school to be a cop, and he saved a life as a Coke man trying to pay his bills. It's a shame that's where we are, because they're treated like dirt in most places. But I'll tell you right now, I was thankful that he was there that day and the gentleman lived. And I was very happy about that, because we were all traumatized by it, trying to help this man when he fell. So I just want to share this with you because it's very It's very scary and sad, but it's a true story, and it's from the police officer's own, he's being interviewed, and from his car, the cameras and stuff from the police department. So I want to share this with you because I think it's important that people see what some cops actually have to go through, especially when they're by themselves, because every time they pull someone over, they run the risk of being killed. And we just take that for granted. And guess what? When something happens and we have to call an ambulance and there's a criminal, there that shot someone or whatever else, the cops are the ones that try to clear the place out to make sure that when the ambulance comes, the ambulance people can go in and help the people. Well, guess what? The ambulance people aren't allowed in until the cops say it's clear, that it's safe for them to go in. Same thing with firemen. When you got a house burning down, but you got a criminal that started the fire, he's in the house, he's holding a hostage or whatever, they can't even go in until they know they're not going to be shot by this person or people. So cops do a lot of things that we take for granted every day that we don't notice. And I don't know anyone in person that's a police officer. I just am sick of the people pointing the finger at the cops and saying, don't fund the cops and defund ICE and all this shit when they're just trying to do their jobs, because that's what they do. And they live in our families, in our towns, in our communities. And this is how they're treated. But the people that are saying it, most of them, in office, in high positions, they have security and they have gated walls around their nice homes, or they live in a nice gated community, things like that. So they're not thinking about you and I and our safety. So here we go.
Top 4 on top fire, I'm hitting the face, top fire. Bro, I need help. I ain't driving, it's stopping again.
My name is Daniel Harrell. I'm a North Carolina State Trooper. I've currently been working with Highway Patrol for 13 years. My dad and granddad were both on the patrol. As a young kid, I knew this was what I wanted to do. Seeing my dad growing up, watching him serve others, I knew I had a servant's heart. I felt like this was the path I wanted to take. On the night of January 14th, 2019, I was currently assigned Wilson County. I was working patrol on US 301, where I observed a car come by, improperly towing another car. Made my traffic stop on the car, made my approach, talked with the occupant of the rear vehicle, which was being towed, made my approach to the front vehicle, spoke with that occupant. While talking with the driver, he then threw his car in drive and took off from the traffic stop. I ran to my car and advised our Raleigh Communication Center that I was 1043, which means in pursuit of a vehicle. We traveled approximately half a mile to a mile. Once we came to another stop, just as I was about to exit my patrol car, the driver of the vehicle opened his door and fired approximately 4 shots into my windshield, 2 striking me in the face. One struck me right in the corner of my mouth, came out behind my ear, and the other one struck me just above my left eyebrow. After being shot, obviously my family's first thing crossing my mind. My wife, who was at home 4 months pregnant, I knew about this time she was just getting home from work. All you can think about is, will you meet your daughter? We didn't even know we were having a girl yet at this point. Will I meet my child? Right after the initial shots hit me, I immediately knew what had happened. I did not know the extent of the injury. I began to return fire and notified Raleigh Communications of what was going on, and I'd been shot.
Top 4 on top fire, I'm hitting the face, top fire.
The driver then fled again with his vehicle. I gave chase approximately another half a mile, where the driver then pulled over for a second time.
Bro, I need help. I ain't driving, it's stopping again.
This encounter, I got out of my car, we exchanged gunfire again. cut the rope to the car that he was towing and then fled once more in his vehicle. I continued to give chase. My mouth would fill with blood. I'd spit it out. It'd fill with blood again. I'd spit it out. I had blood come down my eye and wasn't even sure that I'd been shot here. This was the only one I really felt, which I chased him for approximately 3 more miles, where he made a U-turn and ran the front of my car, which ultimately disabled my patrol vehicle. Got out, I engaged in gunfire again. My adrenaline was just dumping. Just continued to chase as long as I could.
When I first heard of this incident, I thought, I know Trooper Daniel Harrell. I know his father and I know his grandfather. And I immediately went into what was going on with him, what condition was he in, how was his family handling this, and what we needed to do to help Daniel. We constantly train and talk about the day and time that your training will help you in a time of dire circumstances. I cannot be prouder of how he took the fight back to those wishing to do him harm and how he carried himself in a life or death situation.
And look how calm he was after all this time, okay? After being shot in the face, he was shot in the mouth and in the forehead, and he was lucky that he didn't die instantly. It's a miracle that he was able to keep pursuing this guy, because he was doing the job he was trained to do. But he was by himself. He had no choice. He was doing what he thought was right. And I don't know what this person thought they were going to do by killing a cop when he was pulling him over for pulling an illegal vehicle, because he didn't know this guy was going to whip out a gun and try to blow his head off. He was just doing his job. He's doing what his city and his state paid him to do. Yet he's the kind of man that we're told we're supposed to defund and stop, treat these guys like shit, because they're pieces of shit. All they want to do is hurt people. They're racist pigs, or whatever they want to say about them. And it's really sad. It's really sad that that's where we are right now in the world. It breaks my heart. Okay. And I don't know this man. I don't even live in North Carolina. I just saw this story, and I've seen all this rhetoric about they hate police and defund the ICE. They're out there and they're just cops, just like the rest of us. Some of us have family members that are paramedics. Some of us have family members that are firemen. Some of us have family members that are soldiers that are serving our country. Some of us have family members that might be sheriff department or a deputy or a forest ranger. All these different things that we could probably have someone we know that's involved in that, and yet they're treated like dirt simply because of their job, their authoritarian job, to where there's supposed to be certain rules that they follow. And I'm not saying there aren't dirty cops, because there are. There's dirty people in church. There's dirty people that are in schools. Dirty people that work at the grocery store. I mean, we got criminals everywhere, but that's why we have laws, and we have people that try to vote the best people we can get to be a good sheriff or a good county clerk or a mayor. We do the best we can. At least most people that are hardworking taxpayers. We want to have a good hospital to take our family to. We want good clinics. We want good schools. We want nice playgrounds that our kids can go to. We just want decent towns where we can raise our families, and it's just sad that as it goes higher and higher up to, mayor, and then you got state representatives, and then you have congressmen, you got all, it goes up until the governor, right? And lieutenant governor. And it seems to get worse as it goes up. It's like, once they get that high up, they don't give a shit about the little guy that works at Walmart or the guy that works at Tyson that plucking chickens so people can have food, or the guy that runs the little gas station down the road. It's like we are meaningless turds, that we're just something you wipe off the bottom of your shoe. Oh, and you open their wallet and take a few bucks out for yourself because, we gotta pay our taxes. We gotta pay our way. Yet they take the money and spend it on tons of shit that we never voted for them to spend it on. We voted to have better roads in our communities, better jails to hold the prisoners, better courts, raise pay for the firemen or for the cops or whatever it is that we could do to improve our lives by having a safer environment to live in. At least that's what you think. But it seems like we're having to fight to have that when we already have laws. Okay, we have tons of laws, but we don't have people in office anymore. We don't have judges that want to keep criminals in jail. We have people in there that want to let the criminals out to reoffend the people that are put you in office. That I just don't understand. And then I hear people arguing with other people to keep the prisoners out. I'm shocked by all of it. I just don't understand why we're like flipped upside down for some reason about what is good and what's bad. It's like bad is good right now. And I'm not talking about a hot chick thinking a guy on a motorcycle's a bad boy, so I want to chase him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual criminals getting a slap on the wrist from judges because for whatever reason, they rather have them out in the street with you and I than behind bars where they belong. And then when you have men that murder their whole family and stuff, they put them in they have special jails and prisons for people that do that. The guy, I can't remember his name right now. He murdered his pregnant wife. I think it's in Colorado. And then he killed both his little daughters and he put them in these tanks, oil tanks with holes that were like 8 inches around. And he crammed their little bodies down in there, all because he wanted another woman. And he didn't want to give up, what he's earned. He didn't want to share it with his children or his wife that's about to have a boy for him. He didn't want them to have it. So he wanted to kill them, keep all the money and say they ran off and tried to blame her for later on when he got caught that she's the one that did it. It's disgusting. But guess what? They can't put him in a regular prison because as soon as he's in a regular prison and the other prisoners find out what he did to his pregnant wife and his 2 little daughters, thousands and thousands of men out there would love to have a woman that would get up every morning, clean his house, cook him food, and be there for him and give him 2 beautiful daughters and about to give him a son. Yet he didn't want it. He didn't want that. He wanted the other woman, and didn't want to spend money on all these trivial shit that he didn't think was important. They put him in a special jail with other people like him that murdered their families, rapists, child molesters, that kind of people, because you can't put them in a regular jail. What will happen to them? Yeah, you know what would happen to them. That's why they get their own prison. And guess what? Guess what? You're paying. You and I are paying for it to keep them in prison for the rest of their life because they can never be out. So it's sickening. I mean, it's a sickening place that we're at right now. But it's up to you and I to clean house in our communities. Vote these people out. Vote out the bad judges. If a judge keeps putting criminals back on the street, rapists, pedophiles, embezzlers, people that rob stores, sell drugs to high school kids, whatever, and they keep putting them right back out on the street because, they had a bad life. Their daddy was mean to them or whatever it was. And then now they're going to take it out on you and everyone else because they're mad at their daddy or their mommy or somebody else or bully at school. Guess what? I got bullied. I was a nerd, a huge nerd. And I got treated like dirt in high school. But guess what? It didn't make me want to go up and kill people because I was mad at some guy or some girl that treated me bad in school. It made me want to grow up and prove that being a nerd is cool. Look at me. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I love it. I think it's great. And you know, that's how I look at it. But it's sad that we got people that say, oh, they had a horrible life. Well, what about the people you just murdered and you killed or you raped or you maimed? You know, oh, they're not, it's not the same for them because this guy couldn't help himself. So put him somewhere where he can't hurt anyone else, or put him in your house. I'd like to take some of these criminals that they put on the street and let them live with those people. Let them live with that judge. Let that judge put his family in the middle of this guy and see how much he likes it. They wouldn't do it because they don't have to. They just put it on you. And then they go, oh, well, I didn't know he was going to reoffend. How stupid is that? Common sense tells you they're going to do it again. So I just wanted to share that one. But that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. You got people in office that constantly say, oh, we need to defund these people. These people are scumbags. We don't need these people. We don't need cops. We can take care of ourselves. But they won't let you have a gun to defend yourself. You know, you're 135 pounds and you got a 190-pound person coming to your house and he's going to beat you up, take everything you have that you've worked for, who knows what to you and your children. Yet you're supposed to just sit there and take it. It's ridiculous for people to think that way. I think it's horrible, but you know, it's just, I don't know, it's pathetic. But I want to share this. This is another thing that I tell people about. And I've talked about this type of thing happening in lots of different cities in the United States. And it's not just UPS. It's happened fake FedEx people, fake Uber drivers that are delivering food or whatever that's called, Uber Eats or whatever. And I tell people, don't answer the door. If you're by yourself or you don't, or you think that it could be something, and you should think it could be something, especially if you live in a city, don't answer the door. When I get a doorbell rings or whatever, I look out the door or look out the window from, you know, from another place, or I look at my phone because I can see the doorbell cam, and I don't say anything, because if it's a real delivery, guess what? They'll leave it on your porch and then they'll get in their vehicle and they'll drive away. But as you watch this video, you see that the fake delivery people aren't going to leave the package because there's nothing in it. It's probably an empty box. They're going to take it with them because they're going to go to the next house and see who opens their door so they can go in. Never open the door. Never open the door. Just leave it. Let them leave it. I mean, what's it going to hurt? You know, just don't open the door. But I'm going to share this video because it's very shocking and scary, because what you're seeing in the middle right here is the actual cameras in the house that this family put in, because they have small children and they have teenagers, and it's a husband and wife. Okay. And they're all at home doing what they would do in their home, which they have every right to do. And these people come in pretending to be UPS delivery people. So just because they have a jacket on or a hat or anything doesn't mean they're real. Just like any person can pretend they're a cop, you know, and put some fake lights on the top of their car and pull you over in the middle of the night. That's why I said I travel a lot. I drive back and forth from Louisiana to Arkansas a lot. And if I had lights that came up and I'm on a rural road by myself, I'll call the cops on my phone and I'll say, I have a cop that I think is a police officer with lights behind me. I'm not pulling over. I'm going to keep driving until I get to a gas station or somewhere where there's people, because I don't feel safe. And guess what? You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. Especially if you're in the position, you know, you're a single woman by yourself, or even a single guy. Just because you're a guy doesn't mean that you should pull over and just take whatever happens, because it may not be a real cop. If you feel unsafe, call 911 and tell them where you're at, what road you're driving on. And if it's a real cop, they'll be able to say, yeah, it's a real cop, but go ahead. He's going to follow you to the gas station. You know, and you're allowed to do that. But I'm going to share this. We're going to watch this. And it's scary. Please do not answer the door. Just let them leave the package on your porch, because a real person's going to leave it there. Believe me, I've gotten, the last 2 weeks, I've gotten like 7 deliveries, and every single one of them have been just left on my porch, and I've seen them come and leave. No problem. But here, this is a family with a dad, 2 teenage boys, a mom, and 2 small children, all in their house. In the daytime, it's still daylight out. Here we go.
Ow! Give me the money. That's all we have. Oh my God, that's all we have. Oh my God! Where are my babies?
On the 26th of January, 2024, 37-year-old UPS delivery driver Alonzo Pierre Mingo arrived at a customer's home with 2 coworkers to deliver a package for UPS. He knocked on the door for quite a while but got no response, so he assumed no one was home. In reality, all 5 people in the house were there, but no one heard the knocking. The 42-year-old mother was in the bedroom with her 2 sons, both under 5 years old. Her 20-year-old eldest son, George, and the 37-year-old stepfather were busy cleaning the house and preparing lunch. George was about to take the dog out for a walk. At that moment, a fake delivery driver who had been knocking for a long time was already preparing to leave. George stepped outside with the dog and called out to the fake delivery driver. The men walked toward the front door, chatting and laughing. But at that moment, something unexpected happened.
Hey, come on, no more. Open your hands. Move your hand. Open your window.
2 fake delivery drivers suddenly pulled out guns and ordered George to open the door. Before entering the house, they called another accomplice and told him to come in quickly to help.
Oh.
All 3 men walked into the house and encountered George's stepfather, Mario. The 3 men immediately began beating him. One of the men forced George to walk further into the house at gunpoint and demanded that he tell them where the valuables in the house were kept. At that moment, the mother, Shannon, was reading a story to the children. When she realized someone had come inside, she immediately tried to close the door.
Mom, yeah. Please.
The mother sensed that something was wrong and quickly called 911, but after the suspects entered the house, she was too afraid to say anything to the dispatcher.
Okay, I just need emergency. Hello? Oh my gosh. Give me the money. And I ain't playing. Look. I know. Hey, Mario Alberto. Come on with the money, man. Okay. Ow! Ow! Give me the money. I'm gonna smack you. I will give you whatever you want. Go give me the money then. Come on.
What would you do? What would you do? She called 911, but she was too afraid to say anything because then they would know she was on the phone with 911. She did the only thing she thought she could do to help her kids. But what was so sad when I was watching this video, and I watched it multiple times, is the fact that the little brother, the older brother, they were under 5 and under, dragging his youngest brother into the bedroom when he knew that there was bad people there. He was doing the best he could to help his brother, and he was 5 years old. It's horrible. This is horrible. And this should never happen to anyone in their own home. And you could hear these little boys crying. Do you think that this didn't scar them for the rest of their life? Every time they see someone in a uniform like that, they're going to think they're there to hurt them. It's horrible that anyone has to go through this kind of shit ever in your own freaking home. And the young man that was taking the dog out, he didn't know that they weren't real delivery people because look what they were wearing. Probably uniforms they stole. They could have got them at a dry cleaners. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. Please don't open a door at all. If they're real delivery people, they have a BAS unit. It's some type of unit where they put down that they delivered the package and they left it at this address, and then they'll leave it and they drive off. That's their job. I have a relative that works for UPS, and that's what they did. So you don't have to come to the door. Sometimes they ring the doorbell to let you know they're dropping off a package, but you don't have to go out and get it. So unless you're having a refrigerator delivered from Lowe's or something like that, but that's something you should know about. I mean, I've got it set up now in my own vehicle. When I had a blowout in my vehicle, I had a double blowout, but I didn't know I had a double blowout. I was on my way back to New Orleans, and I heard it blow because something came out from underneath the semi, and I tried to miss it. And when I went over, it went up under my right front tire, and I heard the tire explode. So I pulled over, put my blinker on. I moved over the side of the road, and I got out, and I was like, oh, it's flat. So I get the stuff out, and I'm changing the tire. I change the tire and get the new tire on, and then I realized the back tire is flat too. So whatever it was went under both my tires. Now I'm stuck because I can't drive my car without the flat. So I call the people that my insurance was through, and they're going to send a tow truck. But guess what they did? They sent me a picture of the tow truck driver. So when he got there, I knew it was the real person because my insurance company sent it to me of who was going to come. So there's so many things that you can do to try to stay safe. And guess what, ladies? Learn how to change a tire, because not one person pulled over to help me. And I had 2 small dogs in the car, had the windows open. It was like 114 degrees outside. It was hot, but I did it. I changed the tire, and I would have changed the other one if I'd had another tire, but I only had one spare. But I was able to get a tow truck driver out there, and I got a new tire, and I did it as safely as I possibly could. To be safe. Pulled off the road and tried to follow all the rules. But the thing is that a lot of people just don't, want to know a safe way to do something, because this is too much trouble. And Scott, since you're so truthful, who are you telling me to stop lying to people? I'm not lying to anyone. And I feel sorry for you. If you think I'm lying, you don't have to listen to my show. You can leave. Just leave. And it's sad because I know that you had to follow my channel and be a channel member for 5 minutes before you're allowed to even put anything in the chat. So on YouTube for sure. So, I think it's sad if that's what you believe. If you're saying that about me, I don't know. I'm not trying to deceive anyone. I'm trying to let you know how to save yourself. So, maybe he's one of those people that say defund the cops. I don't know. But I just wanted to share that because it's sad and scary. And it says right on there, fake delivery drivers. And they're from everywhere. FedEx, get a fake FedEx person, a fake Uber Eats person. I tell people I don't even use Uber. I would never use Uber because you don't know what you're going to get. It's just like swipe left, swipe right. Let's go meet up and hook up or whatever with a total stranger you just met on the internet. It's disgusting. I had a show last night. And we talked about the Texas killing fields, about all the young women between 12 and 25 or 27 that their bodies were found between 1970 something to the almost to 2000. Okay, in this 25-mile stretch of area where young women would disappear and or be dumped. They were dumped near in that area. So, but the sad thing is, in the 1970s, tons and tons of women and young teenagers or whatever, boys too, hitchhiked. They'd hitchhike, here and there because they didn't have vehicles or whatever, and they'd never be seen again because whoever's picking you up doesn't mean they're a good person. You know what I mean? You don't know them. So don't hitchhike. That's another thing I tell people not to do because it is so dangerous. And just because you did it once and you made it doesn't mean that you were just lucky. You got a decent person that time. The next time you may not be so lucky. And you hitchhike so no one knows where you're going. I was reading, it was not very long ago, someone had called Uber and someone showed up to pick them up, and it was 2 girls and they were pretty drunk, and the person, they passed out, and so the person didn't take them home. They took them somewhere else in the middle of nowhere and did what he wanted with them and then dumped them there. So I'm just saying, be safe, take care of yourself, do the best you can to help your friends and stuff, not make stupid decisions like that also. But let me turn that off and get rid of that. Sorry. But let me go to the next thing that I pulled up. But to me, this kind of stuff's important. And a lot of people aren't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it because I think it's important. And I wish more people would talk about it. But that was something I wanted to bring up because of the whole thing about, you're listening to some of these interviews they're doing in Congress. And these are people that have been doing nothing but bitching and moaning. We hate ICE. We hate ICE. Abolish ICE. Get rid of ICE. Get rid of the cops. We don't need cops. Let's just make the whole United States of America the purge. If you haven't seen that, you guys need to watch it. Watch it and see, is that what you want? Is that the kind of life you want to? Who's going to have kids in that environment? I wouldn't want to have children if that's the kind of lifestyle that we had to live, not knowing whether, you're even going to make it through the day, every single day. How awful that would be. It would be horrible. But this was something I wanted to play because more and more of this kind of stuff is coming out. And especially now that Pam Bondi is going to be moved to some other position or whatever. And I don't know who they're going to get, but I hope they get somebody that doesn't give a shit, that does not give a shit about the media. And they just start indicting people. Because we got tons of evidence now, it's time. But the only thing is we still have a shitty, crappy Congress that haven't even appointed half of Trump's judges yet. So what's going to happen is the same thing that we saw earlier last year when Comey got indicted. What happened? It got thrown out. Why? Because we got crappy judges. And you guys, arrest Hillary Clinton, arrest all these people, blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens when they go and they put handcuffs on, take them in, and then they go to court and the judge throws it out? Then you're going to really be pissed off because we can't get the people that rode on Trump's, shirt tails to get in, America First people saying they were America First. But look at them. Look what they're doing. Nothing. They're not doing anything that we asked them to do because they don't want to. They believe in criminals first, not America first. But I wanted to play this because I thought it was important. So here we go.
Fox News alert: the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump was sworn in. Nothing was coordinated with the other intelligence agencies either. Basically, this was home cooking for Barack Obama. There were 4 key elements from the assessment that were repeated over and over again and formed the basis of the Russia hoax and the Robert Mueller witch hunt. 1, that Vladimir Putin wanted Donald Trump to win. 2, Putin took action to help Trump win. 3, the Russians had blackmail on Trump. That was the Steele dossier. And 4, that the Russians tried colluding with the Trump campaign. None of any of this was ever true. There was no reliable intelligence to support any of these allegations. Senior CIA officials repeatedly refused to traffic in these allegations, but they were repeatedly overruled by CIA Director Brennan and FBI Director Comey, who insisted that they be pushed, even without verifiable evidence. The Obama administration cherry-picked the intelligence, lied about their sources, misquoted sources, didn't corroborate their claims, suppressed intelligence that ran counter to their narratives, and even used anonymous internet postings. Rank and file CIA admitted what they were doing violated their own tradecraft standards. There was a massive pressure campaign that came right from the top. CIA analysts say they received unusual directives from political appointees, the CIA director, and Obama himself. This is how the Russia hoax was born.
Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that the flip side of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
It was Russia in a very systematic way and tried to interfere in the election and to try to advance the prospects of Donald Trump being elected.
This was such a malicious disinformation campaign perpetrated on the American people that at one point, 60% of Democrats believed the Russians hacked our voting machines to help Trump win the White House. What this report actually shows is that the Russians just wanted to create chaos and undermine Americans' faith in democracy. Solid intelligence suggested that Vladimir Putin didn't care who won. He had no preference. But like most people, expected Hillary to win and had a little docket of compromising dirt on her, dirt that he never released. Now, if Putin wanted Trump to win, why didn't Putin drop the dirt?
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Now, if Clinton was on tranquilizers like the Russians believed, why didn't they leak it to help Trump win?
How credible was the information about Hillary Clinton's health?
All I have seen is what the Intelligence Committee have reported through their investigation. I think that the underlying point there is that we understand from intelligence what Russia said that they had. And the important point here is that if they were trying to influence the election, as President Obama and James Clapper and John Brennan, everybody said they were doing in order to support Donald Trump's election, they would have released the most damning of that information.
Obama and his spy chiefs knew that Putin didn't prefer Trump over Hillary, but they cooked the intelligence to make it look like he did. Obama and his intel spies knew that Putin didn't collude with Trump and that he didn't even direct his people to help Trump win, but they put it out there anyway. In a sense, Barack Obama did exactly what Putin wanted, undermined Americans' faith in free and fair elections and caused chaos in our country. Barack Obama, the CIA, and the FBI were the ones doing what our enemy wanted.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
The
President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Even 2 years later, after the election, Barack Obama was still pushing a hoax he knew wasn't true. And he knew it wasn't true because he helped manufacture it.
They're undermining our alliances, cozying up to Russia.
What happened to the Republican Party? They're cozying up to the former head of the KGB. Actively blocking legislation that would defend our elections from Russian attack. What happened?
Now, I don't know if it's possible to indict a former president for actions he took while in office. I'm not a lawyer, proudly. But Brennan, Comey, and others may have severe liability. Trey Gowdy says we know for a fact that Brennan committed perjury when he lied to Congress.
Director Brennan, do you know who commissioned the Steele dossier?
I don't.
Do you know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filings, applications?
I have no awareness.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
No, that's a lie. Whatever happens to these guys is not revenge. It's accountability. And it's time for people to pay the price.
I think so. And I think that's one reason why we're seeing a few of the chess pieces being moved around to get ready for the next piece to be moved into place. And we're going to start seeing some things happening. I'm really excited about it. But each time I actually see anything like this on the news, where they're actually talking about it, I'm hoping that people are actually paying attention to it. So when it does happen, you're not going to see it. Well, we're going to see it anyways, because we're already seeing people that are standing in front of ICE vehicles, doing everything that they can besides, get a bomb and blow them up or something like that. I haven't seen anything, hopefully, and won't see anything that horrible. But I'm shocked to see American citizens fighting with our law enforcement to keep criminals in our country. They don't even fight that hard for our own veterans, to get better health care, dental, or whatever else after they sacrifice themselves to serve our country, in another country. It's sad because I don't know. It's just a huge mess. So I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing something happen with that, because I'm starting to see more and more little changes here and there, trying to set everything up just right, like the way they need it. The only thing is, I just hope to God a lot of these people have good security, because we got a lot of really scary individuals out there. You saw what we just saw, what happened to that one family in their house, just thinking they were going to get a delivery from UPS, and all they wanted to do was rob and terrorize these people. Little 5 and 3-year-old boys, their mother that's trying to read a story to them to take their nap. And the dad gets severely beaten by the 3 men. It's, I don't know. I just don't know. We have got to get better court systems where we have decent judges that actually, follow the laws and weigh it through evidence, instead of, well, we feel sorry for the criminal because, yeah, he's only out 37 times. That's why he stabbed that woman in the throat. Or the guy that was out 40 something times and he started that woman on fire in the subway. Oh, well, he had a bad life because it wasn't your loved one that got murdered. It's pathetic. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on. And I hope to God that we start seeing some real justice from some of these people, because we deserve it. We've been paying taxes and trying to be a decent, decent people and follow the laws. So this is the next thing that I wanted to bring up. This is from Tulsi Gabbard, which I really like her. So far, I think she's done an excellent job. A lot of people were worried about her because she was a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. To me, it's actions speak louder than words. It doesn't matter whether they're got an R next to their name or an L for liberal next to their name, or a C for conservative next to their name. It's what they do. What are they doing? That's what should matter. And when they're doing something and they're showing that they care and they're listening to the people that put them in office, to me, that makes a huge difference. Just like when you go to the doctor and the doctor looks you in the eye and they're telling you, we're going to do this test, this and this and this, and this is why we're doing it. That's a pretty good doctor right there, because they're trying to inform you on what's going on. And it's the same thing. It should be in everything that we have, especially as the people that we put in office, right? We should expect accountability from them. And I'm liking the transparency I'm seeing from some of these people. So here we go.
But the thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that, in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many others around, many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually U.S. funded, and leads to this dangerous kind of research that, in many examples, has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya, and look forward to being able to share that hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link,
correct, between the gain of function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary, because just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right, under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then strong-armed and smeared people like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, anybody who came out and said, I don't know if that's natural. This actually smacks of lab.
And the reason why this is so important is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain of function research is happening in biolabs around the world. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it on your show before, when I warned against US-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off, for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released, could create another COVID-like pandemic. And for that, I was called a Russian asset. You're, trumpeting Putin's talking points, all of this nonsense, simply for speaking the truth and stating facts that, by the way, are still on U.S. Embassy Ukraine's website today about how the U.S. has funded these biolabs in Ukraine. But my point is, in order to prevent another COVID-like pandemic or another major health incident that could affect us in the world, we have to end this gain of function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. The thing is that everything, it doesn't matter what people think. Oh, they're lying, they're full of shit. If it goes to court and they have to bring in real evidence to prove their side of the story, either side, and both sides have to bring in stuff, then the people get to see it and get to see what's happening and what's unfolding and what they supposedly have as evidence or not. So that's what's good about our courts. Okay. But we should be able to see it. I think all of these things, any of these things that go to court for any of this stuff, should be public. Don't you think that you should be able to see it, make it up for yourself, make up your own mind by what comes out in court? But when you have a judge that doesn't even let it go to court because they throw it out, because whatever they find, I wasn't dotted, and they chuck it out and they have to start all over again. It's bullshit. They wouldn't do that for you. If you got arrested, do you think the judge is going to just throw it out? No. he's going to make you pay the fine and sit in jail or whatever else, just like he would any of us. They got arrested, but any of those people, no. So it's going to be nice when we start seeing a few people indicted and actually have to go before a judge and then actually see it live. That would be awesome, which I hope they do. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm really hoping that we're going to see actual stuff happening and unfolding in court. And when they did it with the, the O.J. Simpson case, I mean, people were glued to TV for that. But I just think it's nice to finally start feeling like something good's going to happen. But I wanted to share this because I thought this was interesting when it came across my timeline. It's saying that, I don't know, I'm just going to play it for you and let you listen because it's very interesting. So here we go.
Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And it would have set the earth on this country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers. And we need to. But it's never going to get, unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up. And the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal and I don't take risks. So,
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman. We will have you back.
You should be. And I told the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you being as forthcoming as you have been tonight. And we look forward to having you back. Look, I know Donald Trump wants to disclose something. He hasn't done it yet, but I think he wants to be the president to do that. Tim Burchett, thank you.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, I think it's funny, some of the comments that we're getting from people that definitely loved the last administration and thought that our sleeper in chief was doing such a great job with all the fraud and all the money that was stolen. I guess they didn't care that their checks might have been robbed, that they lost money or whatever. But I guess it's great. I'm so happy that you guys loved getting ripped off and lied to and having your tax dollars spent on bullshit that had nothing to do with anything that you ever voted for, unless you did vote for it. Maybe you did. Maybe I didn't see that. Didn't see that fact that you guys voted for some of this stuff. So, hopefully you can move to wherever my gas prices are really good. I live in Arkansas. The prices are great. But if you live in California, you're probably paying $5 a gallon taxes so that they can spend it. Did you guys know in California that Gavin Newsom, this one county one county in California has already spent over $1 billion on, I think it was some kind of insurance fraud with healthcare. In one county, $1 billion was wasted, and that's one of the things that they're finding out about. But it's really it's really pathetic that you're paying $6-7 a gallon for gas in a state that has no water because you guys have the reservoirs are empty and stuff like that, simply because you got terrible management. You got bad forestry management. You got bad water management. You got bad management. All your nuclear power plants are being closed down because they're afraid that someone might not run it properly because they don't want to train anyone. And they won't let you close them down because they won't let you drive anywhere to get rid of the spent fuel cells. So guess what? You have to beg Arizona for more money. Oh, give me some power, because we're having to have rolling blackouts because we can't even supply our state with enough power because we're pussies. Yeah, I really think you guys are awesome. You guys keep voting the way you're doing. You're voting you guys self right in the ground. And guess what? I'm going to be one of those people that says no bailout for California. Split the state up into 4 different states, something like that. That would probably be better off, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, we'll see. But you guys are in some bad shape. And yeah, you could say and everyone's liars or whatever else. But yeah, I saw what you voted for. And man, you guys are getting what you deserve. And New York's going to soon find out what that's like too. So it's nice to see some people actually get what they vote for. And you guys are going to get it. But this was another thing I thought was interesting, because there's a lot of these little alien things that are popping up, people supposedly leaking information and stuff like that. But, you know, my name's Janet from Another Planet. And when I went to, you know, New Mexico myself, you know, to see what was there and to talk to a few people and things like that, I made a couple little videos about it. It's pretty interesting. You know, the whole Roswell thing, whatever that's going on. But it seems like I'm getting more and more stuff, because there's this whole thing leading up to the NASA sending the spaceship up, you know, the rockets up to the moon, things like that, and have people in the space station filming it. I just think it's very interesting. And the technology of it is interesting, because I love science and stuff. But these little stories are really interesting, because, you know, maybe one day we'll actually have some evidence of some sort to prove that there are people or creatures or whatever from another planet that have come here. That would be interesting to find out. But here you go. I wanted you to listen to this gentleman. He thought it was important enough to make a video and post it. So here we go.
A long time ago, I used to live in Las Vegas, and I had a neighbor. He was some drunk former military guy. And one day we were talking about just nothing. And he had told me that he used to work at Area 51. And so I was like, oh, yeah, you know, I haven't seen the aliens. What do they look like? Blah, 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 yada, yada. And he would never, ever tell me nothing. You couldn't pry anything out of him. But one night we had a power outage, and like the whole neighborhood was black. You couldn't see anything. So the night sky was like really dark. You could see like a lot of the stars because there was no outside light to drown out the stars. And he was real stinking drunk. I remember this guy used to drink like a half gallon of whiskey every 3 days. So we're just talking and bullshitting, and out of nowhere he goes, hey, you see Orion's belt? And I was like, no, I don't know what the hell it looks like. And he goes, yeah, up there. He goes, you see Orion's belt? He goes, you see how you see 2 stars that are straight, very, very parallel to each other, and then there's a little star that's slightly adjacent and off to the, you know, left. And I said, yeah, I see it, whatever. And he goes, the bad aliens live on that adjacent star. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And he goes, yeah, no, he goes, I'm serious. He goes, the 2 stars, that's where the good aliens live. The bad aliens live on that other star. And he said the good aliens look like the traditional grays that we see on, you know, in magazines, on the internet, with the big head, the big eyes, they're really small and gray. He said the bad aliens are brown colored, very tall, and they smell. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, because I didn't really believe in UFOs then. But he goes, I said, if there's really aliens, I said, how do their UFOs, like, how are they able to travel from that star all the way over here? Because, you know, we're dealing with, you know, rocket engines and stuff like that. And he said that the UFOs, they basically run on electricity that's created out of nothing. I think he said space. He goes, they have like a, it was really, you know, he said it in a confusing way, but he said that the UFOs run on electricity that's gathered up in space, and that instead of how a rocket is driven by thrust, by a combustion engine, he says the reason how the UFOs are able to go so fast is that like he said that there's an engine on a UFO that opens up a void in space, and it's almost like he said the UFO is not that it's being thrust, but it's falling into itself. I don't know. I'm not sure if I believed him, but he said it pretty matter-of-factly. And he was, super drunk, because this guy, you could not ever have told him anything of a kind. You could never get anything out of him. But then he just goes off and says that. So who knows? It could be real. I mean, UFOs, you know, I kind of do believe in UFOs because I kind of seen one. I'm not sure if it was real, but it was in the Mojave Desert, and there was a plane going overhead, but it was going way, way too fast to be a plane. It's almost like when you see a jet, and it's going over across the sky. It's probably doing 500 miles an hour, maybe 450. Well, this thing was going like 40 times faster than what a jet would be going up that high in the sky. So I don't know what the hell it was, and who knows? Is it true? Hell if I know. But if any government officials see this, and if this is true, and I let out government secrets, please don't kill me. I don't want to die. I don't know. Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. Please.
It's a little late now after you put this video out. It's out now. And once it's on the internet, it's going to, I guess, always be in the internet. Isn't that what most people say about that kind of stuff? I just think it's interesting that we're getting so many different points of view when it comes to aliens, about whether they live in the ocean and what they're doing. Have they really been here? If it's all fake and made up to cover up other things, that kind of stuff. But as far as I know, as long as I've been alive, I've heard people talking about aliens. So, as far as I can think of, I think that people have been thinking about it. There's even carvings in caves, like I think in South America, where it looks like they drew pictures of spacemen, in a rocket ship and things like that. So I just think it's interesting because since the beginning of man, they've looked up to this heavens, and thought of different things about what they thought it was, what was out there. And the whole concept of that movie, I think it was called, something Gate. I can't remember. Something about the spaceship that would land on the pyramids and stuff like that. And that's what they were there for. And there was different gates, to fly from to go through these gates, to go to one planet to another. So I just thought the whole concept was really interesting. And, people got very good imaginations and lots of these different stories that you see that come out. But I just think it's really cool, all the alien information. And, I'm always going to talk about it because I just think it's neat. I love the documentaries. I've watched a lot of, and there was a couple of TV shows that I'd watch about supposedly, somewhere in Mexico Ranch or whatever. And in somewhere, I think it's in Utah. There's another place in Utah, or whatever, that they have a TV show about supposed, some kind of gate that they think there's a dimensional entrance for aliens or something like that. So I just think it's interesting because there's so many different points of view. And some people think they're demons, or angels that are coming, fallen angels that are coming and using people, to fulfill different things for the devil, all this kind of stuff. It's all very intriguing, but, I just want to listen to it and see, the different stories and, compare them with other stories that are similar, that type of thing. But, who knows? And maybe one day we'll find out whether it's true or not. But I thought this was interesting when it came out about this, actually, the Department of Justice coming out with these arrests. It's nice to see actual people getting arrested. Now, hopefully, some of these people will go to jail for the crimes they committed, and hopefully people will support the criminals going to prison, and support the people that were assaulted, and help them make sure that these people do go to prison. So hopefully they get, I don't know how the whole thing works when it comes to, I think it's federal, because I never served on a federal jury or anything like that yet, but if they called me, I would definitely, answer the questions and stuff, and to get the experience of what it might be like to serve on a jury for a federal case or something like that. I think it would be really interesting. But I'm going to play this real quick and listen to what he has to say.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged, for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida. Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint. And as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry that had been robbed from the victims. The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendants' roles in the federal offense. This is as follows: electronic monitoring data placing Williams Jr. at the offense location, which would put him in violation of his home detention conditions. Cell phone records and license plate reader data corroborating the coordinated travel of multiple defendants from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas, rental car records confirming Williams Sr. rented a vehicle that was used by the group, surveillance footage from the offense location, a nearby office supply store, and a hotel where several of the defendants stayed following the offense. Fingerprint evidence as well that was recovered from the crime scene, matching at least two of the defendants. Social media posts by defendants displaying what appears to be stolen property just in the days following the offense. Greyhound bus records confirming the travel of multiple defendants from Dallas to Memphis the day after the offense. In this case, came to Dallas to conduct legitimate business, and they were met with firearms and violence as alleged in the charging document. This case should serve as a warning to others who believe that using violence and intimidation tactics to rob others in our community is a viable way to conduct business. I'm here to say that it is not, and that if you choose to do this, we will, together with our law enforcement partners here and the other ones in the Northern District of Texas, will bring you swiftly to justice.
Thank goodness. It sounds like they got a lot of evidence right there from what I was hearing. And the fact that they're so brazen that they videotape their stuff and just put it out there because they don't think anything's going to happen to them. That's what we've created. We breeded a bunch of people that go out and fight with ICE. They go out and they rob and loot stores with gangs, like 20 people going in, taking everything off the shelf and stuff and just walking out because they think that they're above the law. They think that what they do doesn't matter. But when all the businesses close because they can't, people don't want to shop there because it's not safe, or they don't feel safe getting in and out of their cars or anything like that. When you live in a place like that, when you just have crime just overruns everything. And you got Chicago, it's been run by Democrats forever. I don't know of any time that Democrats didn't run it. And look how bad it is. Democrats haven't fixed any of it. They take your money and they spend, but they don't make anything better. So why do you keep voting for them? Vote for an independent or something for a change, a libertarian, somebody that might actually make a difference. But as long as you keep voting the way you're voting and it hasn't done anything to help the people in the communities, then, nothing's going to get better. So just keep watching New York City and see if you, especially when nobody wants to bail them out, because they ask for what they're getting. And when all the women are wearing hijabs and they're praying in the street and nobody can get to work, all this kind of stuff. And all the big businesses with money leave, they don't pay taxes. And you guys are going to start finding out what it's like. You think it's expensive. They were griping a while ago because they're paying so much, when, other states are, paying a little bit more, but still half as expensive as other places because of where they live. So where you live has a lot to do with what you end up paying. Do you have property taxes? Do you have taxes on every single thing you do? And, you go to buy a hamburger and when years ago, when taxes were lower, it was like, $10. And now it costs you $25, $30 to buy the same meal that you bought 10 years ago for 10, that's taxes. And instead of taxing other states and making them pay, like my state that I live in has a balanced budget amendment. So the people that we put in office have to use the money that's allotted for certain things on that. Just think, what would it be like if the federal government had a balanced budget amendment, where they couldn't spend money? You couldn't just take money and say, well, we're going to send it to Africa or to Venezuela and start a comic book for gays, or whatever it is they decide to do simply because they got money for it. Instead of spending it on our veterans or our homeless, our homeless Americans that are born here that are now homeless. People like that should get the money and not someone who didn't put a dime in the system. I know you guys are sick of it, especially people that have listened to me. on a regular basis, because I always say that I'm a huge veteran supporter, and any person that put on a uniform to serve other people in our country deserves to be taken care of. That's how simple it is. Someone like me that didn't serve in the military, you know, I have to work at the chicken plant or be a waitress or whatever it is to pay my bills. Well, I'm thankful to the veterans that gave me the right to vote, you know, and keep me safe from being invaded by another country. So, you know, to me, pay it forward, you know, take care of our veterans so that we do have young people that want to step up and take over where the other ones that, you know, gave their life or have retired from the military, you know, we have to have new people that step in and to protect us. And then you get other people that have other skills, you know, to take care of their neighborhoods and their states. So, you know, all of us have to put in our 2 cents to make it fair for all. And if you just take and you never give back, then maybe you're part of the problem. You know what I mean? And I see a lot of people that are just willing to keep taking, and they're not willing to give back anything. They just want to take from people that do all the work. And those people should have their the checks taken away. That's how I look at it. But this young woman, I saw this, and you know what? I'm one of those people. I didn't get the jab, and I lost lots of work because I wouldn't get it. But I have allergies, bad allergies. I get allergy shots, and my allergy doctor said, I don't recommend you get it. We don't know what's in it. And I can't get all my patients a shot of something we have no idea what's in it and expect to have patients, you know. So I was thankful that I had a doctor that was honest about it and told me, you know, I don't recommend you get the shot. And I didn't. And a lot of people, every single person, 90-something% of the people that I know personally that did get it all have health problems now. Whether it's skin, stomach problems, heart problems, vein problems, their hair is falling out, tons of things. You know, just it's horrible to see so many people having so many health problems. But I watched lots of videos. People were putting out video after video after video before everyone was told they have to get it, you know, like the military and stuff like that. I was seeing people that I know that are in the science and technology area, like I was talking about earlier, that someone said, you don't like science, you like technology. Well, no, I don't. I like science too. I think science is important. That's why I loved sci-fi. I love sci-fi movies. I love all kinds of things to do with sci-fi, because you see something as a little kid, you know, that they used in a movie or whatever, and you thought it was interesting, and people grow up in their imagination and they decide, well, I'm going to make that. I'm going to try to make that real. And they do. You know, we've got a lot of things like beds and things now that are coming out because somebody saw it in a futuristic movie or read it in a book because their imagination said, I can do that. I can figure out how to do that. And to me, that's important, you know, to get young people to want to create and do things for others or for themselves, even if it was to make money, whatever the reason is. If it's technology that's going to help people and they use science to get there, great. It just helps more people and helps other people around the world. But this nurse, she's going to give her evidence about patients that didn't die from COVID. Okay. They died because the hospital protocols used during COVID, the ventilators and the remdesivir, other things like that, that caused people to die from it because they were told, don't give them this, don't give them that. They have to have this. And when they did that, they basically, they died from it because and a lot of them knew about it. But what really scared me was, like I was saying, the videos that I saw, it was over and over and over again. I saw more and more videos showing whole laboratories with like 50 beagles in it. And every one of the beagles that were injected with the COVID vaccine, they died. Every one of them. Not a single one lived. And it wasn't just beagles. It was other dogs. They had poodles. They had other different dogs, Labradors, other different ones in labs. And guess what? That they didn't want to tell anyone. Guess what? We can't move on to humans because every dog that we've injected with it died. So that was covered up. That's why a lot of this stuff is important. All these investigations are doing about what they knew and what they didn't release. You wouldn't want to do it. Would you want to, if someone said, here's $50, all you got to do is stand here and let us inject you with this stuff. And then you say, well, what are they injecting? Well, we don't know. We just mixed up some stuff. We want to see what happens. Would you willingly put your arm out and let them just jab you with it? No. And I guarantee most of America would have said, no, I'm not going to get this shot. We don't know what's in it. They didn't even test it on people in a lab, like they're supposed to with all vaccines, the way that we were told they're doing it. They did it on animals and they all died. Every one of them died. Do you actually believe that the government would say, oh, it's okay, let's just kill all the dogs. When they die, then we'll try cats and then we'll try rats and we'll try this and then we'll do it on our children. Yay, let's do that. But that's what they did. But who would believe that they did that? But hopefully a lot of these people are going to be held accountable. I'm a healthy person. I didn't do it. I have good, healthy blood, and I'm willing to donate to help other people with fresh blood that's not been COVIDed, or whatever you want to call it. But I'll have to just wait and see. But I'm willing to try to help people. Because a lot of people did it because they thought they should, because they were told by their doctor or they were told by their boss that if you don't do it, you're not going to have a job. So, I don't blame the people. But I'm happy that people like this woman are willing to step up and tell the truth about what they know about their jobs and what they were doing at their jobs to hurt people.
My background is in critical care, and I worked throughout the pandemic in the ICU directly caring for COVID patients. After 18 months of chaos, I left the bedside because I could not watch one more of my patients needlessly die due to deadly hospital protocols and the denial of life-saving medications. They were telling us that COVID was killing all of our patients, but I contend that this was not the case at all. But instead, it was the complete and total medical mismanagement of COVID that was killing them. If patients were dying of the virus itself, then why were we not pulling bodies from homes and off of the streets en masse? The reality is that patients, they're not dying at home. They're not dying on our streets. They are dying in our hospitals. And it is time that we start asking ourselves why. I walked away. But if there's one thing that still haunts me from my time working at the bedside, it is the faces of the patients that I knew didn't need to die. I can't get them out of my head. I had never been really comfortable with death. But you quickly begin to understand that death is a part of life that comes for all of us eventually. And one of the first things I learned in nursing, especially working in the ICU, is that there are fates far worse than death. I considered it an honor to be able to provide compassion in a patient's last moments, to care for them. But this was different. These patients, they didn't die from a disease. They didn't die from a virus. These patients died in a hospital holocaust, and this shamelessly corrupt system used its well-intentioned nurses to carry out their sinister plan. The ventilators, they're the new gas chambers. I walked away, but not before I witnessed numerous alarming signs that these novel vaccines were causing great harm to my patients.
It's pretty scary stuff. The more and more and more people that come forward. There was a woman. I tried to find the video earlier, but I've had a lot of stuff going on with my own family that I didn't have time to, I couldn't find it. The one where she was talking about just different stuff that she was able to find, and she was proving that the COVID vaccines were not good. So she stopped giving the COVID vaccine and was starting to inject the patients with just saline solution, to give them the peace of mind that they were getting a supposed shot that's supposed to protect them from something that she knows wasn't. the same vaccine that they were injecting into dogs, and every one of the dogs were dying, was being injected into people. And she just couldn't do it. And she was going to go to prison for it. And the whole thing is very interesting and sad, but I'm thankful that stuff like that's starting to come out now more and more. But it's just sad. The whole situation is sad. And I can't wait to see people held accountable, especially if they knew what it was really doing, but they still did it anyways. That's wrong. If they injected it into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dogs and every one of them died, so they swap it under the rug because they were going to lose billions of dollars in pharmaceutical money, and they knew that it was going to kill people, and they still did it. Don't you think they should be held accountable? Well, I want to share this because this is interesting. This young woman, she says, this mother makes $60,000 but can't afford her daughter's medical procedure. However, if she were to downgrade her job and salary, she would qualify for government medical assistance for her daughter. What's even more messed up is that she's from Denver, where every migrant gets free health care. Okay, this is what I was telling people. Someone who never put one dime into the system gets the Cadillac health care. And a person who works their ass off week after week after week and pays taxes, doesn't speed, doesn't rob, doesn't maim other people, they get screwed. And that's what I'm trying to say. Aren't you tired of being bent over every single day, giving all your extra time and money to the government? And then this is how they treat you. So I just want to share this. I'm going to play it. Here we go. We'll start from the beginning.
I feel like only in America can you need medical assistance that you can't afford to get. And in order to get government help, you have to make under a certain amount. So if you're someone who's like makes $60,000 a year, you don't qualify for any fucking help, but you can't actually afford to get your child the services that they fucking need. But if I quit my job and I go work for McDonald's, I can live off the government and then she can have the help that she needs. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I feel like
the only way to make it make sense is to tell you that the people that you voted and put into office made that decision for you. They would rather take the money that you're putting in to pay for taxes and give it to people who just walked over the border that never put a dime in for Social Security or anything else, and give them free school, free place to live, food, medical, dental, eye care, and everything else. You know why? Because those are their new voters. So you are swept under the rug because guess what? You aren't worth it anymore. You're too much work because you want something, you want more in your life. So you and your children and your family suffer because they want the free people, the people that they can control, because as soon as those people start to wise up and decide they want more, they threaten to take away their benefits. And if they take their benefits away, they lose. See? So that's how they win. They control the voter by taking away their benefits. We'll say, well, if you don't vote for me, we're not going to pay for your health care, or we're not going to pay for your food stamps. We're not going to pay for your living expenses. We're not going to pay for, you see, they take it from you. That's what they're doing. They're moving you out because you're upping your game. You're improving how much money you can make by working hard and being a good person. But now you only are realizing it because you have a child that's ill. And before you had a kid, you thought everything was hunky-dory. But now you have a kid that you're responsible for and you love. And now you're realizing these people that I thought cared about me, that I kept putting into office, are actually saying, fuck you to my kid. And now you got to quit and give up everything to be able to have them take care of your kid. But if you were to take your kid and go to Mexico and then walk over the border and become an illegal alien, they'd pay for every single penny for your child to have surgery. So maybe that's what you got to do. Maybe you just got to give up your citizenship, become an illegal alien, and then they'll take care of your kid. Isn't that terrible that we're in this situation that a young mother can't understand that she's done everything right. She went to school, she got a good job, she's trying to better herself and make a good place for her child. And now she's being told that her child can't get the care she needs simply because mommy makes too much money. If mommy was poor and lived in a trailer and was on food stamps, guess what? We would take care of her kids. See, they want to control every aspect of your life from cradle to grave. And this is what we've been trying to say to get rid of these people, because if they cure you, you're not going to buy their medicine anymore. Then they don't have any money to go on their vacations and do whatever they're going to do, right? So it's sad. It's sad. Really sad. So, I really feel for this woman. And I think it's terrible. But, hopefully something good will come out of it for her. But we'll have to just wait and see. Time will tell. And I keep praying for this young woman and other people just like her that are working their ass off, trying to be good people and told, no, we're not going to help you because you make too much money. So sad. Here we go. So the next thing, I got one more thing that I thought was pretty interesting. And of course, it's been posted by Gunther Eagleman on X, but it's interesting. So I'm going to play it for everybody. Here we go.
This morning, federal law enforcement conducting raids across Southern California targeting alleged healthcare fraudsters. William Lajeunesse has more from Covina, California. That's just east of LA. You've been on this story for a while. What happened?
Good morning, Dana. Yeah, this is the first takedown for the new White House Fraud Task Force. They arrested two owners of two hospices here in Greater Los Angeles. They're accused of collectively stealing about $16 million from taxpayers. And this money was intended, right, for compassionate end-of-life care for the terminally ill. Here's some video we shot earlier today of the FBI making those arrests of a husband and wife, he a doctor, she a nurse, co-owners of the St. Francis Palliative Care Hospice in Glendale. And what they were doing was this, admitting people who were not qualified for hospice, but billed the government as if they were, about $30,000 per patient. And when the benefits ran out, they dropped them. Here's the kicker. Nationally, 80% of adults admitted or people admitted to hospice die, and usually in the first few weeks. Here, almost nobody died. After 8 months, 97% left alive.
They've been bilking the taxpayers for over $7 million, close to $8 million, and it's all total fraudulent hospice services. They were signing up people who are not terminally ill. They were forging the documents, the medical records, and they were collecting taxpayer dollars. And they've been charged, and this morning they were arrested.
Here's another arrest down in Topanga Hospice. And here they were paying kickbacks to the patients, giving them $600 a month in an envelope. That's because they were getting reimbursed from the feds about $6,000 a month. Now, they are also paying marketers to find seniors and take their Medicare card. They bilked the government for about $8 million, not eligible, and they were not terminally ill.
The name of this endeavor is Project Never Say Die, because the folks who are in the nursing and the hospice facilities owned by this couple and their family don't seem to ever pass away.
So the feds are here for a reason. California was giving out thousands of hospice licenses to people who are unqualified, no oversight, and of course, taxpayers have been paying for it ever since. Dana?
Okay, we're going to follow this one. Thank you, William.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was talking about earlier, the hospice ripoff, basically. It's in so many different states. What's going on in all these states with the different people ripping off the taxpayers in those states for fake daycares, fake hospice care, fake medical care, fake drivers that are driving certain people to jobs. I mean, they've found every nook and cranny where they can slip the paperwork past certain people, because you got to remember, the people are getting paid under the table, these government people, to let these papers just go through, that whatever, because there's so many crooked people, just like I said, in every level. Okay. In churches, you got people that are crooked. You got crooked people in at different doctors' offices. They're just everywhere. They're just all over the place, and yet nobody holds them accountable. And we just keep voting them in, just keep giving them more money, just keep putting them in office and let them rip off another town, another neighborhood. It's just like what we've said over and over again in the, child trying to help children, is we find out there's a guy in a church, let's say he's in a Catholic church, right? And he's molesting little boys, right? So the church finds out about it because bunches of parents are saying, my child was molested, blah, blah, blah. And what do? They don't call the police and get the guy arrested and get him off the street and put him in prison because he's a disgusting piece of shit. They just move him to another church. They just be all hush hush. Oh, well, we got rid of the guy. Well, those people in the church are happy, but they don't ask what happened to the guy. Where'd he go? And demand that he goes to prison, have him arrested. They just send him to another church to molest more kids. And then that church does the same thing, and it goes to the next church. Same thing with schools. You get a teacher that's doing stuff, or a certain person doing stuff. They just send them to another school. It's sickening. I mean, when does it stop? The only time it stops is when we say enough is enough and say, screw you. We're not passing the buck anymore. We're going to start saying these people got to go to prison. We got to arrest these people. I mean, last night, the show I did last night was about DNA, that they found another victim from Ted Bundy simply because they are trying to solve cold cases now using DNA, which is wonderful, because just because it's a cold case and it happened maybe in the 80s or the 90s doesn't mean the families don't need closure. If it was your family, you'd want to know after waiting 25, 30 years to find out what happened to your loved one. They've done a few tests, and I found out that there was a woman that was found in Florida. She was disappeared 30 years ago from her family. And guess what? She'd been kidnapped and raised by a whole nother family. And to find out all these years later that you got mom and dad and brothers and sisters that have been looking for you for 30 years. It's great to find out that we actually have law enforcement now that's doing the best they can using DNA or whatever means they have to try to solve all these cases that have been on the books forever, because they just couldn't get the help they needed. They didn't have the money because they were defunded, because you got all these people saying, defund ICE, defund the police. We don't need cops. When they live in a gated community and they have 24-hour security, stuff like that, because it's okay for them not to worry about it because they have security, but they don't care about you and your family having to defend yourself without a weapon, without the means to defend yourself. It's disgusting. We got to stop putting these people in office. We got to start getting them out of office if they get in there and they don't do the job that you put them in there to do. They just go in there to make more money and vote for things they want. It's sickening. Yeah, that's right. I agree with you. Pitchforks and torches motivate people. I think so. But it's almost to the point where a lot of people feel like that's the only way we got left. It's like I was talking about earlier. It's going to end up the purge, in real life. It's really scary. But if somebody doesn't start doing something, time's running out. We're running out of time. We got to do something soon. It's before it's too late. We have so much evidence now. We got DNA. We got everything. We just need to start. We just need a decent judge that's not paid off or crooked or owned by somebody because he was having an affair on his wife and they got all these dirty photos of him or whatever it is. And if they're crooked and they broke the law, then we need to start putting these guys in prison. Start arresting these judges if they're crooked. crooked judges. That whole mess that was going on in Arizona, you had judges and lawyers and people forging people's signatures to sell property over and over again, the same piece of property to cartels, and stuff like that. And what's her name? The governor of Arizona was involved in it. She forged her mother's signature on how many documents, and they had it in court. But yet she's still governor. It's like, what the fuck? It's just hard to understand this shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Well, I did because I did, but oh well. That's just the way I feel about it. But I want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with me. It's 11:30 where I'm at, and we'll be going for over 2 hours. And I might be driving to another state tomorrow to go see my dad because he's not doing very well, and he's at my sister's. So some of my other sisters are there right now. So I just would, appreciate it if you have it in your heart to pray for my daddy, and hopefully maybe something really good will happen. But I'm just going to play it one day at a time as I wait and see, because I have responsibilities here also. And I was just there a couple weeks ago. But, it just depends on, what's happening about whether or not I'm going to jump in my car and drive for a day and a half to go see them and see if there's anything I can do. But all we can do is, pray. But thank you very much for hanging out with me. And a few people that didn't want to be here for whatever reason. I don't know why they joined chat just so they can bash the person who's running the show or anything anyone comments and stuff like that. They just filled with hate. And that's part of the problem is we got a lot of people filled with so much hate that they would rather see the America burn to the ground before Trump can be given kudos for anything he might have done. It's really sad. They hate Trump more than they love their country. And it's hard. It's hard to see, especially as a military brat, to see how many people have given life and limb for this country to give you the right to have some of the things you have, because they've never gone to another country to find out what it's like to live there and find out how little rights they have, like when they can come to your house and arrest you in Europe because you posted online that this guy was a bully or you didn't like him because he's an asshole or whatever, and they come and arrest you because you hurt their feelings. It's scary shit. But if that's what you want, why don't you move there? If you hate America so much, move to one of the countries that you think is going to treat you better. I wish I could see that, but so yeah, me either. And I'm so thankful that you're not going to, because I don't ever want you to come to watch my show ever anyways. And hopefully you'll never come back. I'd really appreciate that when you have such horrible things to say about other people. So you guys, the rest of you, the decent ones that actually care and want to make a difference in the United States of America, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And hi, Hungar. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling a lot better. Yeah, do you get a lot of hate when you do anything? Do you ever do live streams and get a lot of hate? Because man, I sure get it. I get lots of it. So at least I haven't gotten any death threats today. I mean, people telling me they're going to come kill me and blow my brains out and stuff. I've gotten a lot of that, though, lots of posts like that. But it's really sad when you see some of these people. Yeah, it's just sad when we have so many people that are, that it's just sad that we got so many people that don't want anything good to happen. They just want to see other people not be successful. That's what they care more about. And it's sad that we're there. But, that's just something we have to put up with and live with. But thank you very much. Yeah, I do appreciate all my ranches when they can come in, because I know that you guys all have lives. You have something that you have to do. So it's oh, Hungar, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, but I really, really appreciate you. You're such a sweetheart. And I know Bruce loves all your shirts. He's always wearing your shirts and stuff. He bought me one. I haven't been able to wear it on camera yet, but I promise I will. It's this one. It's your shirt, so I know you know what I'm talking about. But I really appreciate you. You're a sweetheart. But yeah, and I know I really, really appreciate it. And I'm still the same person I was when I first started. I say the same things. I believe in the same things, and I always will, because that's who I am. And it's just sad that somebody can hear me say something good about a certain person that they don't like, or say something bad about a vaccine or something like that, and they just want me dead. They just want my head to explode on national TV. That's what they want. And it's really sad, because that's what they really believe. They rather see people like me in prison or my head chopped off on live television than anything else. And it's really sad that we have people that want to do that to people. I've never advocated to hurt anyone. Even when I didn't agree with getting the COVID vaccine, I never said bad things about people who wanted to get it. I just wish that their doctors would have been more open about things to them, so that they could make good decisions. And that's all any person deserves. Every person deserves to be told the truth, and so that they can make decisions for themselves and their families with facts. When they don't want to tell you that every dog that was given the shot died, every single one of them, because I saw lots of the videos and I cried. I thought it was horrible. I said, I can't believe they're giving them more pets, more kitties and more puppies and more other animals to inject, when they already know what the outcome's going to be, because they've already done it to 6 or 7 laboratories full of dogs. I don't know. It's sad people don't want to hear the truth, but I'd rather tell the truth and have people not like me than the truth never come out. That's how I look at it. So, well, hello, Warrior. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, it's late. Boy, it's real late for you where you live, because you're an hour ahead of me. You prefer hot sauce with green color than red? Well, I don't like hot sauce. There was a few things I ate in New Orleans that had a little bit of Cajun spice, and my lips would burn off. And, having a few mud bugs, that was as hot as I could get. They put that corn in there and some potatoes and eat that, and I would enjoy it. It was delicious, and I'd lick my fingers, but man, I'd have to have a glass of milk, afterward. But hello, nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. I'm about to finish. I just did my last video a little while ago, and I was just saying good night to everyone. But there is one video that I want to share before I close up. It's a reminder to people to pay attention when you're on the road. Okay, don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs and drive, because you put yourself and others at risk. Wear your seatbelts. I know I sound like an old nag, but the thing is, the reason you should wear your seatbelt is because you're not the only one on the road. You may be a really good driver. Okay, you might do everything right, but some other idiot runs a red light and rams you, or T-bones you. They run a stop sign, or whatever else. So I'm going to play this really quick for you, because I think it's very informative. And I wish more people would really, really pay attention to what's going on around them. Here you go.
Mate, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time.
He just pulled out. I don't have time to stop.
Well, come on, mate. It was a simple mistake.
I know if I was going a bit slower.
Please. I've got my boy in the back.
drove too fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to see that. It's sad because we're not all given the chance, a second chance to think about what it is that you just did. And both of them were at fault. One was going too fast and the other one just ran a stop sign, because they weren't paying attention. They were so busy focusing, I want to get home, I'm tired, I'm hungry, or whatever it is, instead of paying attention to the road when you're driving. I just wish more people would, because it's not just you on the road. So think about that. But you guys have a wonderful evening and hope you have a great weekend and just enjoy your family. Give them hugs and kisses and tell them you love them, because today might be your last day. You don't know. So enjoy every minute that you can. Talk to you later.